Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker fan sports show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, Match Rule Edition. I'm your host, Honke. How you doing, Mac?
Dude, I'm doing so good. How you Redcasters doing out there? What a fantastic evening that was. A full and dominant blowout of a lesser opponent, brought to their knees by the will of a superior team, executing at a high level through 4 quarters and all 3 phases. I mean, that was amazing, right? Okay, and also, we're just going to start off this entire episode with, I'm aware it's Akron. I'm not going to keep doing that thing where I qualify everything I say about the Huskers from here on out. I know it's Akron. I don't care that it's Akron. This was an attitude game. The boys came out with a hunger to hurt some guys. They were out there and smashing and smashing. Everybody was competing, from the starters to the third stringers. Everybody was contributing. Like I said, all 3 phases, special teams, defense, offense, they all came and contributed, and no one made any major mistakes. And even the ones that kind of seemed like a big mistake led to points, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like a pure, you draw it up, EA Sports, it's in the game blowout of a lesser team. This is a stats game. This is a pad year. This is you getting into conversation nationally because people don't watch everybody's games, and you get your stats up there.
You just see the stats, yeah.
It was awesome. I don't really have any complaints about it. But yeah, that's where I stand with it right now. This is a fun day.
Well, and it should be. We don't get 68-0 blowouts very often. I mean, that's a big number even in the glory years. You know, that's a big deal.
And yardage numbers, that's a big number.
We're going to go through some of those stats here tonight, Mac. We're going to have a chance to kind of break down some
if we have time. There's so damn many stats.
It was good to get back into Memorial Stadium there for a night. And we were talking about that Archie's parents from Australia.
Yes.
But, they've been in town or in the States for a couple of weeks now.
Right.
And they've got to watch Nebraska in 2 different settings,
right?
2 different venues, but both of them packed houses. Totally. And you know what? He didn't get a punt last night, so that was unfortunate for them not to be able to see that. But what they've got to see, think about what these first two games have been like setting wise for them. They've got to be like, hey, our son, first off, this is nuts what he's a part of now, this Husker Nation thing. Right. And also, like, he's taken care of. He's in good hands.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Archie's never played football before, right? So they've obviously never gone to any of his games before. They went to the first one. He did get to punt. And this is cool because they go to an NFL stadium and it's packed with Husker fans. I'm like, oh my gosh, these fans are crazy. What a great fan base. This cannot possibly be taught. It was so loud and at Arrowhead Stadium. And this is great. How fun. And their son came out, he punted well. He was a national story for those days. And then it's like, okay, and a week later, they go to a Husker opener, and it's a night game, and there's drones out there, and the light show, and Thunderstruck, and they smoke this team. And they see this fan base, and like, oh my God, it went up like 3 pegs from just Arrowhead Stadium, and then they get to see the facilities and all the things they offer and how well their son's taken care of. I know people are like bummed that he didn't even get to punt. I'm like, I think they had a good time. Yeah, I think they're fine. Yeah. They get what punt. I mean, you go to a game, you see a punter. If that's your boy, 4 or 5 times you might see him in a game. So like, yeah, there were bigger things, and I'm sure they had a great time, and I'm glad they got to see these. Like, what amazing intro to college football. Amazing.
That was an ass kicking on epic proportions, and that's not me saying that. That's Akron head coach Joe Moorhead saying that.
His words.
Very accurate across the board. Now early in the game, Akron made a couple of stops there. There was a fumble that Emmett had, and then he didn't get back on the field the next drive, which is good. We always appreciate that from a coaching perspective. Yeah. If you make a mistake, even if you're Emmett Johnson, you're gonna get pulled out for a drive. But he came back and finished strong. And hopefully any of these things that happen over the course of these first couple games, a mistake here or whatever, you get it on the film, you work on it. Emmett hasn't had the drops in practice or any issues like that. He dropped one catch in the first game against Cincinnati. And, the coaches were saying I hadn't seen him drop a pass the entire fall camp, right? So I don't envision this being an issue with Emmett. But he came back strong from it.
Yeah.
And we got so many different players in here, and we're going to get, let's start to look at some of the stats here. But as we do, so many players getting in means there's so many different guys that are getting stats put on them. TJ Lateef gets in there and starts to throw some passes, and we get Mosey and we get Nelson, the backup running backs, getting some of the carries that we wanted to see, from the week 1 to week 2.
Right.
And so just in general, just a very positive game across the board. Happened last night against Akron. I did post one thing to Twitter, and so I watched the game with Kathy, took my wife there, and kind of the joke with us is, usually every year we'll go to 1 or 2 games, and it's kind of the quote unquote the easy games that we go to.
Okay. And
when you look at the history of the games that I've taken her to, we went to McNeese State in 2014, where Amir has to be Superman on a play so that we don't end up going into overtime.
Yeah, that's probably a bittersweet kind of.
But at least we won.
Yeah.
Because we didn't win in 2017 when I took her to Northern Illinois. We didn't win in 2018 when I took her to Troy. God. We didn't win in 2022 when I took her to Georgia Southern. And it's like, and I'm trying to tell her, it's not your fault, baby. It's not your fault. This is,
it feels like it is. Sometimes I wonder. But it isn't.
And so I sent something out last night when it's like third quarter, and I think we were up like 47-0 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was just like, we're up 47-0. Mm-hmm. Our backup quarterback's on the field, and I'm there with my wife, and you know what? This isn't the moment to critique every little thing about this team. This is just a moment, like, sit back and enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Sit back and just enjoy the moment.
Like it we could all find, I guess, some flaws in the game if we wanted to. Why? I'm like, okay, that's like, you're just kind of being an asshole at that point. It's like, yeah, dude. I mean, I know we didn't get in on the goal line that one time. I saw that, but I also saw like better tackling. The tackling from this week, from the improvement from last week to this week, massive. If as physical as we're playing on both sides of the ball, massive. It's like, okay, I don't know that I loved all the play calls going in for that. Whatever anybody's complaint is about those goal line situations, I'm like, fine, whatever, file it away. But most of the game, 98% of that game was just a total beatdown, like a total beatdown. No, at no point was there any question. Like you wanted to see Dylan be mobile, saw him be mobile, throw on the run. He was accurate on the run. Got a first down with his legs. Cool. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead of things, but it's like you could just list off stuff that we've been wanting to see, and regardless. Nope, I said I wouldn't do it. I was going to say regardless of opponent. I'm not going to say that. We just played better. I already did my disclaimer.
Well, I mean, it's hard because how much do you put on – Akron's not good. We know that. We understand that. This is not one of the This could be the worst group of 5 team that's out there.
Correct.
Okay, I mean, that's very possible. They haven't scored a point yet. They were beat 10-0 by Wyoming. I wanted to wait a night to even have this kind of conversation. Again, last night wasn't it. Last night was enjoy this moment, okay? Enjoy watching all these guys get out there. Enjoy us playing good football.
Right.
I mean, like, and to your point about us being physical, I was thinking about this as Carter Nelson was just pancaking a guy on one of the late plays downfield, great downfield block. And we just looked like we wanted to beat him up. We looked like
everybody was headhunting.
We're the more physical, bigger, stronger opponent, and we're going to act like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then they did what they were
all
supposed
the way
to.
down, all the way through the depth chart.
And what I watched was a sideline that when you've a game where you're shutting out somebody, and it's time to empty the bench, and we're already doing that by the middle of the third quarter. Yeah. There's the starters that are on the sideline, the black shirts that are on the sideline. They still want that shutout kept. And I was watching the sideline, and this gets into that culture thing. Well, what's Rule created from a culture standpoint? Those dudes are cheering each other on, man. Yeah. They're hooping and hollering when the second and the third string guy makes a big play. You saw it that transcended over to special teams where we're going to block that field goal. We're not just going to wait for the second one to hit another upright. Right. We're going to take matters into our own hands. And we've seen, we can get into some special teams in this discussion.
For sure.
That we saw more things on the special team side, actual punt returns. And, there's just so many positives to take that I understand what Troy is. Not Troy. I understand what Akron is. I understand what Akron is right now. But I don't know that I knew what Nebraska was capable of doing, this team yet. Yeah. And last night showed that they at least have a killer instinct and if they can overpower a team, they're going to do it, and they're going to be aggressive and physical and everything. And I just want to see them build off of that. Well, I know we're going to be 3-0 when Michigan comes to town in 2 weeks. I know that. I want to see the mentality that this team took, that physical nature. Yeah. I don't want anything 2 weeks from now. You and I went to the Michigan game 2 years ago, and it was too big for them. It was too big for the whole team.
Yep.
And that was a different Michigan team than the one we're going to play in 2 weeks. But that was too big of a moment for that team. I want to see this team here on national TV at 2:30, 3 o'clock, whatever it is in the afternoon when the kickoff is. I want to see them come out there and have that same mentality that they had last night, that it literally doesn't matter the name on the opponent's chest.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's a good chance of that. Like that was my favorite part of that game. It was just the attitude through the whole way down in the team was just all about their business. And there wasn't any let off at all throughout the game. Like they never really lost their focus on that. It was like, we are trying to score. We are trying to stop you. We are preserving this shutout. Like that was important all the way down to the whole team. The whole team got to take pride in that win, which is super cool. And I'm sure for the coaches, it's awesome because you preach all of this stuff. And when you can clear your bench and get your role players and sub role players active time on the field, what a great way to reward them, and what a great way to reward the whole team. Then everybody comes to practice, a little bit more satisfied. You're always a little happier when you get to eat, and they all got to eat a little bit, and what that does for development and what it does for the coaches to actually be able to see these guys on the field and go, oh, this guy can handle that moment. Quinn Clark, you know what? It seems like the more we give this guy the ball, he looks pretty good with it. I kind of like him. So it's a win all the way around. Like these games need to be part of like how you build your team each year. Yeah. Like it's there's no shame in playing games like this every year, having games like this on your schedule. The shame comes in when you do not put up points like this, when you do not put up yards like this, when you do not improve and clear your bench like this. Lots of big programs do this. It's fine, but it's like if you're picking differences, right? And we're only through 2 games. The very first game kind of looked like a lot of the other games we've seen throughout the years, except for some key points, right? Like we won. That's a big difference, right? Yeah. We didn't make the killer mistake at the killer time. The other team did, and it wasn't like we played that much better than we always have. We just didn't kill ourselves, and special teams was a little bit better. And it allowed us to win that game. And then you go into the next game and you've kind of now seen everything, what you need to address, where we're a little weak. And not only do they address that, but the team comes back charged up to actually play better. You see it from the players. They want to play better. Like they were, the aggressiveness from first week of the defense to the second week is night and day to me. Like it looked like they were playing their guys last week. And this week they were just like shedding their guys. So much of the time was spent in Akron's backfield. It was so cool to watch, and the numbers were the same. You like saw 93 out there, you saw 96 out there. It's like, well, these guys are balling, and it was fun to watch.
Man. Yeah, and some of it was new players too.
Yeah,
like Quinn Clark on the offensive side.
Yeah, when you clear the bench, you got to get I got to get my roster out.
Cade Petrock. The last name's kind of interesting. It's Pietrzch. But true freshman from North Dakota,
four-star Columbus,
4-star kid from North Dakota last year. He was a top recruit out of North Dakota. But to see a true freshman on the D line, I tweeted out yesterday, number 93. It's like we need to put Tomich back out there. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like Tomich playing there, and he goes out there and gets a safety. And that's not somebody that was on my radar of being part of the depth. He didn't play much against Cincinnati. I don't remember him out there. Maybe he had some snaps, but that wasn't part of that regular rotation.
Right.
And now it's just one more body thrown into the mix, and let's get better this week. I want to bring up here some of the stats here, Mac. Let's look. So we're looking at this screen over here. If you want to look up here, yeah, I know that's really small there. But we have 2 games through now on this.
Yes.
So it was hard to find stats that had been updated. Like I went to ESPN and even the Huskers.
I noticed that too.
And they're not updated through 2 games yet. And so at least this one was. But through 2 games here, we're scoring 44 points a game. And with first downs, we've had 54 total first downs, 19 of them rushing, 35 passing.
Wow. Okay.
Rushing yards an attempt, 4.99 yards an attempt. So that's 69 rushes through 2 games, 344 yards, 5 touchdowns. Our passing rating is through the roof, 178.92. And we have a lot of yards to show for it.
Yep.
Yesterday was a good stats game, 737 yards, and we've completed 65 of 82 attempts.
That is
0 interceptions, 6 touchdowns.
That's excellent.
So, it comes back to, I don't really care about who the opponent is right now. You could look at Iowa as an example, and there's been a lot of I've seen it on Twitter and a lot of people going out of their way to make comparisons there. But like Gronowski, the new QB for Iowa, who I still think he's going to be a good QB for them down the road. Or
a good QB for us.
Well, I'll just say his numbers have been less than stellar in 2 games, and one of them was against Albany. All right. So it doesn't matter who the opponent is.
Exactly right.
We're well past the point of apologizing for who we're playing, and that's why we have these unreal stats. I think Coach Callahan back in the day would have said 65 of 82 is good against air.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. So
to have 6 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, what an incredible turnaround.
That's a great ratio. Pass. I mean, he had thrown, I think, 12 all of last year, 12 or 13 touchdown passes last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to be trending nicely. Yeah, there's just no question that it's better. And like you said, with the other teams struggling with lesser opponents, we did what we wanted to do. And there was no trying to charge the guys up. They didn't come out, just sort of meandering around. They came out to play. They really wanted to be out there and play. Like, that's what I got the most on. Like, these guys are out there having a good time playing, and they're pumping each other up, and they're flying around, and nobody needs – you didn't see a lot of rah-rah from the sidelines from the coaches. The players are out there doing it. Except for Eckler, but that's Eckler's baseline. And Eckler, when we get to talking about special teams, worth every dime.
Oh my gosh.
Already worth every dime.
Well, let's start here at the QB spot. And we have Dylan through 2 games is 57 of 73. That's 78% completion, 607 yards, 8.3 yards in attempts, and he's the one that's thrown all touchdowns. So he has a 6-0 TD to interception ratio. Nice. His rating's 175.05. 303 yards a game. Let's talk a little bit about him. Let's just start with Dylan and the growth you've seen with him from year 1 to year 2, and maybe even if there is some game 1 to game 2 this season.
Oh yeah. From year 1 to year 2, that's pretty clear. He's just so in command of where he wants to go with the ball. He's so much better in the pocket of either getting rid of it quickly or this year his pocket presence and getting up in the pocket or getting out of the pocket has been much better. That pass though that he threw when he kind of broke the pocket, rolled to his left and threw that to Lindenmeyer for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. That was insane. So there was a sequence right before I came here. I was at work during the game. So I saw the second half a little more patchy than I saw the first half because the game was so in hand. I felt like I should be a better employee. And so I was a little more busy in the second half. But I didn't see that play initially, and I didn't see how he rolled out after breaking the sack to throw it to Dane Key. And the like those were humongous throws.
Yeah,
like those were so big time. The throw over to the middle, and then Ja'Cory Barney's game was insane to me. And Dylan is like threading through safeties, linebackers, over the top of them, and he's doing it very easily. And his delivery is, I feel like, a little bit different this year, and only that I think it's just a little quicker. I think he just looks more decisive where he wants to go with the ball, but the way he's feathering some of those balls, and there was another one like up to the left flat with, it might have been Dane Key again, where he just got it right up and over and he stepped out of bounds. It was so easy. And every time he does it, Dylan just goes up to the line of scrimmage. He never gets excited about his own plays. He so expects himself to make those plays. They're not that big to him. You know, he only really celebrates touchdowns, you know, and maybe when he runs for a first down, he's pretty happy about that. And I would be too. But yeah, the difference, and then from game 1 to game 2 is just more of that pocket presence, that comfort in there. I feel like he was much better about that. He was a little bit better about pushing the ball downfield, but I think a lot of that was just the defense he was facing too. I think he's exactly what the coaches are telling us he is. I think he might be, I think he might just be kind of like really, really good. Like really, really good. Like the conversation will shift quickly after the Michigan game if he stays on this.
If he does that kind of performance again.
His pedigree's good enough. His name's big enough. It could really go, and he's playing that level. I was nervous a little bit, like a year ago. He's a true freshman, and he's leading the team out, and sometimes out of the tunnel. And it's like there's some things that you can't. Some things just take time, right?
And it's not that he's some old sage now, but he's been through 2 full off seasons. He is a sophomore now that has started 15 games. He truly it feels like he's a leader on this team now. All the natural leadership skills and everything that he brings to the table. I mean, when they introduced the flyover the military pilots, and they all go there, you know, they open up their chest and they're wearing Husker shirts and stuff, and they get done, and Dylan walks over, he's shaking all their hands.
Nice.
I've never seen a player go and do that.
Yeah, he's
and that was also, by the way, late in the third quarter when he was already done for the day anyways. He's just very confident, and he's very comfortable in that setting. But it doesn't seem to annoy the players, the other guys on the team, like that. They look at him differently. I think he literally is a leader on this team, and you see it when something goes a little wrong. You see it in the huddle after we jumped off sides at the 1-inch line against Cincinnati, and you could see him in the huddle, and he's talking to some of the guys, and they're listening. I mean, the team, I think, is elevated by him. He's elevating the play. Now he's gonna throw some great pass, an elite pass that only a QB of certain nature can throw. And if that's not caught, that's going to be a problem. Yeah. You know, like it elevates the other guys. The guys blocking for him, the guys running for him.
Yeah, I 100% agree. He's elevating the players around him too. They're learning to trust that he's going to get them the ball and go up and get it. The wide receiver play this year has been excellent. Really, it has been excellent. And the tight end play this year is actually existent. Like Lindenmeyer he's producing, and he's gonna quickly become like somebody you have to game plan with a little. But what a problem. Because it turns out our running backs are pretty good little receivers too. You know, so and it turns out our wide receivers can block a bit. So it's like, I don't know, man. That game made me start looking at this team a little different. Like for real. Like I started looking at the sideline. I started watching these guys. I'm like, man, are we to the point now where we expect? That was the kind of the thing with this game. There was almost an expectancy. Like, no, we're going to come out here and whip you. Well,
you know, for all the people that sit there and go back to Akron's not a good team, right? And I think the spread was 37.5. Well, there's a whole lot of people for all the right reasons that going into that game said, that's a pretty big spread. I mean, geez, 35 is a lot. 30, we could blow.
When's the last time we scored 35?
We could, exactly. We could blow them out, and true. We could blow them out, and still, they'll get a late score on us or something. It'll be 32 points. We beat them 68-0.
Yeah,
and so whatever. I don't know what that translates like. We're not gonna see a bigger competition this week with Houston Christian. We get that. But I'm very confident with where this team is right now. I want to see development and growth from week to week, period. We're doing really well right now in our penalties, in our, the turnovers, period. There's the special teams. Those are the things, those are the areas that we lose games in the past because of. And And short of Dylan's fumble, not Dylan, Emmett's fumble, short of his fumble there at a terrible place where you don't want to have it happen, right? Are you concerned about Emmett having a fumbling issue this year?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Right?
No, not at all.
I mean, like, so he did it.
Yes.
I'm gonna say he got it out of the way.
Kind of, yeah.
You know,
I mean, he got blasted though. I mean, the fumble wasn't one of neglect. Sometimes guys make plays, and that guy blasted him on the arm with his helmet. That sucks, but that does happen. So it's like, for me, that's not as big of a deal as, you know, poor ball security guy. And it's like the third time you've seen it from this.
Well, okay, on the first touchdown of the game, he's running in there, and you can see he has the ball in the right arm.
Yeah,
as he's going in, and so that should be on the outside arm there. I'm just.
But
saying,
it was kind of funny because he did do that. He kind of pulled it right up to his chest, right when the guy was swiping for it, and then the guy totally whiffed and fell down. So I was like, "Oh, was that intentional?" I don't know, but I thought the same thing. I'm like, he probably should switch the ball.
Yep.
But maybe he just wants to concentrate on running as fast as he can. You know, it's like,
that was the thing, is that he showed good breakaway speed there against a guy that had an angle on him. I don't know how fast the Akron, defender is there.
Super fast.
But he had an angle on him.
He did.
And something that was probably an area that we wanted to see improvement with him in the last year or two was, can he show that pull away?
It was his biggest knock. Like, I just don't know if he could break the big one. That was his biggest.
He can make a guy miss. He has a real nice jump cut and all that.
Pretty good receiver, decent blocker.
Yeah. Can he pull away? He pulled away there.
Yep.
Right. So
they schemed up well for him today. He had a few big hitters. Gosh, he averaged 10 yards a carry, and it was nice, tidy, efficient work. We got him out of. He had twice the production that he had the week before with half the amount of attempts. You know what I'm saying? And we did the same with Dylan, getting him out by the third quarter. That's great for a lot of reasons, but like just shows how efficient and how good this team is operating right now. And we can get some rest out of him because, hey man, if we are a good team, it's a long season. And these guys, these frontline guys we have, they're good. But if they can just get, 4, 5, 6 games under their belt, they could be really good. We don't know yet. But if you have a little time to build some chemistry with this team and Dylan really gets to know these receivers and knowing where he can put the ball, which he really already has a pretty good knack for right now, like some of these passes he's making and the way his receivers are going up for the ball to get it for him, it's different. It's different football. I don't know what to tell anybody. It's different football. We looked like a different team out there yesterday.
Yeah.
Just like we look different. It seemed like I am so hesitant on this Matt Rule third year hype train. It just scares me. I just don't want to be hurt. Right.
Well, everything's about trying to learn more from week to week.
Sure.
XBS X Studley here. Love the name. He has how about Cincy? And Cincy went out and they won yesterday. They beat Bowling Green. They were up by 20 going, I think, into like the fourth quarter, and then gave up a little bit at the end. They won by double digits. We'll see how good the opponents are that we've played as the season goes on here. And that Cincy game, we said it afterwards that people were disappointed at how close the game was. Well, we don't know how good Cincy is. Well, Cincy turns around and has a pretty decent season, and that's a Power 4 team. And there's a lot of Power 4 teams that don't play other Power 4 teams in the first week or the first 2 weeks.
That game on a rewatch to me isn't as bad as it was on first pass.
Sure.
I thought so. And again, I'm not saying it doesn't matter how good Cincy ends up being or not, but to me, it's like, how was the team actually playing in that game? Our team, and there was just, to me, the difference was it was a little more timid to me the first week on offense and on defense. It seemed a little bit more like we're feeling each other out. This week seemed like, all right, that was good. Saw the film, know where we're going. Let's hit it, and that's what they did.
Well, John T brings up a good question. He goes, "I'm a bit concerned that Akron was able to stop us on the goal line twice, if I recall.
Yes.
One of the stops is what we were talking about with Emmett's fumble, and good hit." Can't fumble there. So
you don't want to fumble there.
Then they stopped us on 4 downs, and we tried to do a kind of a tush push there with Harburg. I'm actually really impressed with Akron there that they stopped that. I mean, that's a hard play. You don't see that play get stopped very often. We did the same tush push a week earlier against Cincinnati and did that with some success. It's always a concern there, John. You always want to score when you get into the red zone. I was looking at some of our stats here, and if I go through, we have red zone stats. Success so far, we're at 83.33%.
Okay.
We've had 12 attempts in the red zone, and we've had 10 scores.
Okay.
2 of those that we didn't score were yesterday, and that's the fumble, and that's the 4th down stop. So, 83.33%.
That sounds good.
That's better. We want it to be as close as you can to 100% there. You always want to be walking away with points no matter what. Our field goal game's gotten a lot better.
A lot better.
So we only had to use that one time yesterday.
It'll be interesting to see how we handle the goal line, going forward. I feel like there's a lot to be said for a team like us with the height we have and the tight ends we have. I just kind of like a bit more of a play action kind of option thing in the goal line than just straight trying to push it, a yard or two dead at a team. I just think that's super hard to do. And it takes away our best features. Like our best thing is like we got a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
Like a lot of weapons that you're going to have to account for. But if you bring everybody in tight, you pack it in, your running back, your quarterback can't run very well, then it's like, I don't know. It just seems like you're giving up a lot.
Well, we saw Dylan pull the ball and run it in the third quarter there. He went for about 8 yards. That's really important. He needed to do that.
I agree.
He needs to show that on film. We talked about that in our film session on Monday with Eddie Cecilia, a coach out there at Standing Bear High School that went through some game tape with us. He needs to pull that because, number one, it's open for him to pull it and get 8 yards here or there. So that helps move the chains. Also, it will create the ability to fake. He's got to fake off of that for other plays down the road where he is handing it off or he is trying to do some kind of play action or RPO. But no one's going to buy it if you never run it.
Agreed.
So that's the start of it. And having that dual threat in the red zone doesn't hurt. We saw that with TJ Lateef when he got in there and he did a nice little scramble there and was a yard away from scoring. His knee was down at the 1, but a very mobile play.
He's pretty dynamic.
Very dynamic player, and we scored. We were doing more of like these cross plays, and it's the same thing that Emmett scored the 41-yard run on for our first touchdown. Similar play is what we're doing when he scored later in the red zone, and we're pulling the tight end from left to right or right to left and having a guy in motion before the play. That's the same stuff we were doing a year ago.
Yep.
A lot of similarities to that. So you started to see some of that cross stuff. So that was a little more of an element added to the game that we didn't do as much against Cincinnati.
Right.
So it'll keep going there. I think what we've tried to do a couple times in the red zone and didn't maybe have as much success. Sometimes when we're just trying to just literally double tight it and just power over, we haven't quite seen some of the same success there, and teams get compacted on the defensive side too. We get it. I think what's interesting about last night's game was something that we wanted to see more out of this offense was big plays.
Yeah,
we wanted to see that against Cincinnati. Dylan had this unbelievable passing percentage, but nothing was really going downfield far. Correct. Cincinnati wasn't. They were basically in prevent and not allowing that anyways. Yesterday we saw a bunch of big plays.
Yeah, tons.
And we're scoring from outside the red zone.
Yep.
And that's a good start too. I mean, I think it's a confidence booster for this offense to see that they had countless number of guys that went out there and had big plays and scores here. I mean, you look at the rushing attack yesterday. Emmett Johnson only carried the ball 14 times, had 140 yards, 10-yard average, 2 touchdowns. Quentin Ives gets out there, has 4 carries, 34 yards, 8.5 yards a carry, a touchdown.
Did he have 2 touchdowns rushing, or is that
this is rushing here?
So he had 3 touchdowns total.
Yeah, receiving. Emmett had 1 receiving touchdown there, so three total. TJ Lateef, 2 carries, 17 yards, 8.5 yards a carry, a touchdown. Mekhi Nelson here had 5 carries for 11 yards, touchdown. Dylan Raiola had 3
Connor
carries.
Booth got in? I didn't see that.
Yeah, Harburg had the 1 carry for 0 because he did the tush push and just didn't.
On that goal line thing too, some of that I feel like it's just. I don't know that we have our timing down very well. I just seem like a little bit of goal line is you'll allow the line to kind of shift a little bit. You're just smashing into the back of them before they have a chance to move anybody. It's just I don't know. There's an art to it.
There is receiving wise yesterday. Jakari Barney 7 catches, 132 yards.
He was
18.9.
He was exceptional.
And Isaiah Hunter, he was really big at the beginning of the game, had a couple big catches right away. 4 catches, 82 yards, 20.5 yard average.
He's just an easygoing, real good player. You know what I mean? He just kind of makes plays all over the place. You can count on him. He's good.
Isaiah Mosey, 3 catches, 65 yards, 21.7 yards a catch. He looked explosive.
And powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like really good balance with him. Hard to bring down. Again, he ran with the same intent that I saw the whole team play with. Like, he did not want to go down. He was definitely trying to score touchdowns, you know, like he was irritated with the tackling that was happening around him. Like, that was really good to see. That was my absolute favorite thing about the whole game yesterday was the whole team attitude.
Luke Lindemeyer, who I think is quickly becoming a fan favorite between the Luke cheers in the crowd, but also he is right away was identified in the first week or two last year when Holgerson took over on offense. He was identified right away as being, this is a good tight end. And he hadn't been playing as much at that time, or he was just a blocking tight end. And Luke's and Holgerson's like, no, this dude's a dude. And 3 catches, 44 yards, gets a touchdown. He's moving the chains. He's
key times too.
He's making plays that you expect to see a tight end make. Tight end type of plays, getting open and having some mismatches there. Real solid with his hands. Everyone's been solid with their hands. I'm not seeing a bunch of drop passes. No. That's something too.
That's true.
Irregardless of who we're playing, you can always drop passes.
Gosh, that's a great point.
We've dropped passes left and right in games over the last countless years.
Yeah, easy ones.
Nair last year is a good example of that, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter who you're playing.
No.
If the ball hits you in the hands and you drop it, that's a problem. Quite honestly, we benefited from Akron dropping some balls yesterday. But we haven't been.
That's true.
That was really solid.
It was very, very solid. And, even that one that I think it was Jacory. It was kind of a fade route to the corner. I still thought Dylan put that in a pretty good spot. He should have came down with that. I don't know if it was considered a drop, but they're really playing at a high level for game 2. They look smooth. They look ready to go. All the way down. The running backs, it was good to see the backups get in there. They look like they belong to me. The more the merrier. It was just all the young guys getting to play and see them out there. The size of our team looks different. The athleticism of our team looks different. It's a pretty special. So, what do you want to move to defense or how are we rocking this?
Well, let's see here. What do we go here to the Akron box score? Yeah. 9 points first quarter, 24. So here's the thing too. Sometimes games start and it just takes a little bit of time to adjust to it. That's the craziest thing about that final score. We didn't come out just guns a-blazing. Right. It was 9-0 at the end of the first quarter. No concerns, but just it took, and you saw a team. I thought that they looked more confident as the game went on. Like, I think this is a game that they're going to look back on at the end of the season. If we have the kind of year we think we're going to,
what kind of year do we think we're going to have now? Does this change it for you?
Well, I think it's Arbitrary Analytics posted a tweet that said, analytics. Yeah, well, they posted a tweet that said, they posted it was like if you have a team that has like over 700 yards in a game and win by the point differential that we did, like that combination's so low. There's only so few of teams that have done that. And like 90% of them end up going 10 wins or more. A team that accomplishes that feat, just doing that once. Like, this is not common.
Wow.
It's not common for a team to do this to another FBS program. Maybe you can do this to an FCS team or something, but like when you're playing even bad FBS teams, like to do these kind of combo stats of putting up 700 plus yards and winning 6-8-0, like there's something behind that for the team.
And also,
and so I guess
we did do it with our depth too. We didn't do it with our starters in the whole game.
No,
that number could have been significantly worse. I mean,
sure. And I guess I just think that, so to go back to, if we have the kind of season that we think that we have a chance.
I love analytics. 10 wins. God, analytics are so smart. I take it all back. 10 wins. Heck yeah.
Held them to 175 yards defensively here. We held Akron to 175 yards. We held them to 62 yards passing. Our pass defense right now through 2 games, we've held Cincinnati and Akron to 131 passing yards. A 64.58% pass rating. My guess
sounds low.
My guess is that's going to be number 1 in the country. We were number 2 in the country last week coming off of the Cincinnati game. And to do that back-to-back weeks. And to put that in perspective, folks, Butler, our defensive coordinator, he was the defensive backs coach at Buffalo.
Oh, that's true.
And for the last 4 or 5 seasons that he was at Buffalo, they were basically the number 1 rated pass defense in the NFL. He knows that pretty well. And, at least, again, 2 games in here, teams are completing less than 50% of their passes, 22 of 48. We've had an interception now.
Yeah.
No touchdown passes against us through 2 games. So it's a start.
I tell you, I've been watching, when I was rewatching this game, I was particularly keyed in on Marshall, the defensive back there. He is, I don't know, man. He just looks super good to me. He is super fluid, aggressive, good with his hands, turns his hip. That one play where they kind of threw that bomb to the right-hand side, and they both dove for it to knock it out of his hands. That was a really good ball by that quarterback. But you watch, when they do the replay, you watch his coverage throughout that whole thing, the way he jams him, runs with him, turns, runs with him, and then looks back before the ball comes. I haven't seen our defensive backs play that aggressively and play the ball as much as I have this year. That guy's a pro. I just think he plays like an NFL cornerback. What year is he?
I think he's a junior, I want to say. Let me look here real quick.
He's exceptional. I really think he's exceptional.
Yeah.
And I just haven't seen Sierra much. I haven't seen any highlights of him.
That's the thing. People aren't throwing at him.
Well, and that tells you something, but it's just like, man, when I'm watching Marshall play, it's like, dude, I wouldn't keep going after this guy. He's also looking to make a play, not just cover the guy. He's looking to make an interception, and he's super handsy. Like, he's going to try to get away with as much grabbing you and pulling you and shifting you as he can. Like, he's super. Well, there's probably a term for that. Not a cagey veteran, but like he's just one of those guys. A lot of tricks. A lot of this stuff when you turn to pull, a lot of wrap my arm around you, a lot of kind of bumping up in you to run with you. Like, annoying probably is the best way. He's like a really annoying physical cornerback that causes problems. He's on our team.
And I wonder how much the benefit he gets of going against a guy like Hunter or Key in practice. When you're talking about that
vice
physical,
versa.
Yeah, that vice versa, right? I mean, like, it's that game within the game. All the little tricks of how you kind of pull somebody down. We've heard that in the lines, the D line, the O line going against each other. There's all kinds of tricks. I mean, the iron sharpens iron kind of mentality. I think the Hunter's pretty good as a receiver. I think Key is pretty good. I think Barney's pretty good. I think we've got some really good dudes there. I think Lindemeyer's going to be a really good tight end this season for us. And all those same guys you're talking about are having to cover those dudes.
Yeah.
Day in, day out at practice and all through fall camp. Hopefully that's leading to this being easier. The games are easier than the practices. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I really like our secondary right now. I love how they're like Donovan Jones. Like, he's super physical and he's athletic and he likes to hit and he gets hype back there. And he's a Nebraska boy. So it's like, he's super fun to watch. The way Singleton's been coming up and filling on runs, like, he's out there trying to hurt guys too. And I'm just like really proud of the secondary right now. I really do think we could be a problem for a lot of these teams.
Well,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm watching this team and I'm watching our sideline and I'm looking how good we're playing. And like, the sideline's just like full of like guys hungry and watching the game and just waiting for something good to happen. I'm just looking at the team a little different, and I can get hype. This is fine. If I end up being wrong about this, that's fine. I'm a fan, and I'm fanning right now. This has been
we haven't had a chance.
How important this game is.
We started this show back in 2017, Mac. We haven't had a lot of opportunities in 8-9 years to feel this good.
None.
2 weeks.
No.
Well, let's put it this way. How many times have we not even gotten out of the month of August? Whether it was a Northwestern game out there in Ireland, or it was going out to Illinois in 2022. And, the season's already just feels ruined. I mean, there's plenty of teams right now. You're a UCLA fan right now. There are fan bases that are feeling, Florida, their AD, they're trying to. There's just other fan bases that are having to deal with a lot of stuff. Alabama, it's not a fun place to be right now. Well, Michigan, I'm looking up Bryce Underwood right now, and true freshman quarterback, and right now he's 84th in the country with his QBR rating. He's 46.8. He's, let's see here. So far, he's 30 of 55 on the season, 393 yards, 7.1 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. This is a guy that
he probably has some rushing yards, though, doesn't he?
Let's see here. Against Oklahoma, he was 9 of 24 for 142 yards. Had a completion percentage of 37.5%. Took a sack, QBR rating of 40.2. And that's at Oklahoma. That's a tough setting. And he'll be better because of that.
Yes.
But it goes back to what our secondary, and feeling confident in the secondary. Like, I feel really good about who we have back there right now in 2 weeks when we're going to be playing that QB. Yeah. I feel really good.
Everybody's looking to get a ball. Everybody's looking to get.
And Dylan was a 5-star, big time true freshman quarterback a year ago. And we saw what the growing pains that he went through a year ago.
Sure.
Those are the kind of things Underwood's going through right now. I'll tell you what, Memorial Stadium should be rocking louder than Oklahoma Stadium ever was. Yesterday. This should be the environment should be absolutely crazy for that
especially
kid when he
since
comes
the last
in
time they were here, they tattooed us pretty good.
Sure.
And we owe them. And there's no reason to think this team is anything that much better than us.
I thought about it as I was looking at the field, the new field turf that we have. And you were talking about it. I like the red end zones. I think they look sharp. But also the sidelines. The last time we've had Michigan come here, we're on the east side. We are cooking in 100-degree weather. And Harbaugh is the coach and tells Trev Alberts, who he played with in the NFL, tells him later that week, he's like, why are you guys on the east side? Why are you standing in the sun? There was a 30-degree difference, right? And I'm looking at it now, and we're going to be playing them in the middle of the afternoon. I kind of hope it's a hot day when we play Michigan, and our sidelines are black. I'm like, all right. Exactly. All right. There's a difference from 2 years ago.
You know how easy it is for us to film you guys practice and get your calls when you stand on that side? That's amazing. Talk to my friend Connor here. It's like, thanks, Jim. What a dynamite tip there. Yeah, that would be that could be a raucous type event. And getting back to what we were saying about being excited about this, Matt, I'm telling you, I don't remember a game like this in a long time where I felt like everything on special teams was really good. Not just average or passing, but really good.
We caught punts and returned punts. We
blocked field goals. We had more punt return yards in this game than we had all of last season. It was exceptional. We made field goals. Between the last year and this year, this special teams turnaround is phenomenal. So that was better. The offense comes out, scores on almost every drive. We don't punt ever in the game. We put up not just points, but yards, and not just points and yards, but we put the backups in to do, and it kept on keeping on. Like, these games don't happen like this. You put the backup defense in there. They maintain a shutout. They get a clutch. Well, I guess I got to give the block to special teams, but there's a lot of defensive guys on the special teams that contributed to that block, So it was just like, no, we don't get games like this. And no, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. Like this team came out looking like they weren't even surprised by this game.
Kyle Kunanen 1-for-1 makes a 35-yard field goal. On the surface, big deal. But we've missed 35-yard field goals.
Oh yeah,
right. It doesn't really matter who the opponent is when you miss. He's 3 for 3 on the season. Punt returns. Ja'Cory Barney Jr. had 4 for 87 yards, a 21-yard average.
Really good.
And then even Isaiah Mosey gets in there and gets 1 punt return. So back to building some depth there.
Yep.
We now even got a second guy back there, catches the punt and returns it for 5 yards.
Yeah, we got to our backup punt returner.
And he caught a punt and ran it back for 5 yards, which again, maybe our standards have been lowered. But when we've gone through season after season, when like we're just begging for a guy to catch it, and they're catching it. And there were some wide open spaces there, really wide open spaces. In fact, I thought Barney, the first couple, I actually was texting with you a little bit. I was like, man, he looks a little tentative out there. And then his next one was one of the better ones I've seen. And we texted and we're like, okay, maybe he's got to get, this is new for him. He wasn't doing this before.
Man, as the season started, I love the idea of him as a punt returner. And I think he is going to be, or is a really good punt returner. But man, the way he contributes on offense and just the fact that he's not that big, it's like, I kind of wish we could take some of that off his plate and let some other guys do it. But, if he wants to do it and he can do it, that's fine. But gosh, he was so good on offense yesterday. If you're special as a punt returner, and I think, Pearsonell is somebody that kind of taught us this, or Jawan Gross taught us this, or Joe Walker taught, there are certain guys when you're good at it, man, that's an NFL marketable skill in and of itself itself. Nate Swift was good at it because it's such a unique thing. You're catching a ball with bullets flying all around you, and you just to catch it. Takes a lot of moxie, and then to have any kind of vision, make one guy miss and go. I do like how he catches it too. He catches it pretty effortlessly.
Yes. If he can prove to be special as a punt returner, then I'm all for it. For it. If he's one of those guys that's going to be averaging 8 yards of return the whole season, then I'm like maybe that's undue.
That's fair because we should have wide receivers at least that we could compensate there. If he's special at punt returning, that's more elite, I suppose. In terms of
and again, I don't want to keep bringing it up. It's Akron, 21 yards return. If he's anywhere close to that over the course of the Big Ten season, if he's at double digits, if he's averaging 10 yards a return, for cripe's sake,
he'll lead.
That's a huge difference from what we've had. D Parks 68. Everyone hit the like button. We appreciate that, D Parks. XBS X Studley again says, if we can keep our QB room together, the future is bright. That's an interesting one. We talked about that, Mac.
We were just talking about that.
Dylan is only a sophomore, and then you've already got Latif out there now as a true freshman, and we'll see how the season goes. Is he playing 4 games? He's the number 2 QB, so
he's not going to.
I can't imagine that he's.
This is today's day and age in college football, right? Like, there's no point and trying to redshirt and hold Latif back.
Not when next year you've got Dayton coming in, and then the year after that you already have Trey Taylor coming in, right?
He may stay or he may go, but I think now the way these players can move around until something changes. If you've got good players, you're just going to let them play.
How about I like the question here.
I do too.
If we can keep, how about this? Does it concern you? Can we keep them around?
Does it concern me? No. No, because I don't think you can. I just don't think you can keep everybody. What does concern me, but I feel good about, is we seem to be in the conversation for a lot of these top tier quarterbacks. Yeah. And Dylan's success with the team success this year is so crucial to that, because then we can.
There's your proof of concept.
Exactly.
Because when Dylan's in the pros in 2 years, and starting as a rookie somewhere, and
Latif has already come out and looked good. That's good.
Now you're building.
That's good.
Well, and I'm just saying, like, there's a bit of a pump the brakes on the conversation. Like, let's not get too many steps ahead. But at the same token, like, the same problems that the best programs had. The Alabama wasn't concerned about
this is what it's
losing
like when your best programs, guys. Everything's fine.
We're literally Alabama again, right? From a couple years ago. But like,
we got Georgia in our crosshairs, bro. It's fine.
But Tua,
we just stole their quarterback.
But they had Tua and Hurts, and they can't keep everyone either.
Right.
I don't know that I'm going to sit here and say we can keep every single great player that we have. But the fact that we constantly seem to be well, we're getting these commitments from the next. We already have our next 2 QBs on top of it. I hope that Latif has a nice long career here. I hope that there's a way to get enough balls to guys that and that guys are willing to stick around and get developed. All those things.
You're right, because it's a fair question, but it's a fair question for every top program. It's like, are we going to be able to keep our quarterback room together? Perfect example, Tennessee.
Yeah,
couldn't keep Nico. It didn't seem to hurt them.
Well, what I like, I like the idea. We've talked about this a couple times. I want us to be so good that we have to be concerned about what success looks like. What if Coach Rule? What if we win a whole bunch of games and then teams want to take Coach Rule away from us? Right. All right, cool. We've lost coaches in a lot of ways that
way worse,
right?
Worse ways.
We've had guys that weren't successful here and still left. And how about we have the success
and then we pay them,
and then we pay them not to leave, right? And pay out contracts. Let's worry about. Let's have success. Let's have amazing, great success. And if people want to come after our folks then and come after our players or whatever, I'm not concerned that we're not going to have resources or that our fan base and our fan support and everything. That's not an issue at Nebraska. It's never been a resource issue in my opinion. I think there's a strategic issue, like Rule talked about when he first got here. Some of the NIL wasn't in place, and I think we have the right people in the right rooms and the right seats right now. That's from Troy Dannon down to Rule and administrators in between. There's a real link between this. And I think that, we're prepared. We go out and we get that Pat Stewart guy who's our general manager from the pros. And it's like, how do you manage a roster now where guys are getting paid? Okay, well, let's bring in people that have been doing that. Right. So it's a lot of culture and management of a team, last night, they had to spread the ball around to a lot of different guys. And at least for that night, guys seemed pretty happy. Yeah. They seemed generally enthusiastic about their brothers on the team winning and having some success. Yes. And even a guy like Archie with his parents, halfway around the globe watching him, and he doesn't get on the field. And they talked with him and he's like, it means that we're doing well. Yeah. If I don't have to get out there.
Right. Don't be selfish. Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. That was
I mean, right here. Dank Coyote says it best. I love these names. Jeez. What you're really talking about is the culture building Rule is doing. That is the X factor that not every program is doing. 100% agree, Dank. And that is, really, we've talked about this for 3 seasons of Rule. The portal's been open for all 3 of those. Yeah. And there have been other schools that have had, you see how Dion would come in at Colorado and how they would manage a program. We haven't had this mass exodus of players at any time, whether we were winning or losing, because at the very least, I think we're generally treating people right, treating players right. That still means something. We're gonna be competitive if we lose a guy to NIL to some other school that's just gonna fly out pay more. There's a point where any business sits there and says, okay, I don't know what to tell you, man. This one's not going to work out. If that's what it all comes down to, I think we'll be competitive with any player that we want to keep. We'll be competitive with, and then you treat them right, and you hope that there's still room for loyalty in this world here.
Well, I think what's happened now with the way college football has sort of restructured itself is it's allowed a program like Nebraska, a traditional blue blood, but with limitations in terms of location and trying to just get people to come see your campus and that kind of stuff. It's always been a bit of a challenge recruiting. You don't have the oceans, you don't have the big city, you don't have whatever, said geographic advantage. But nowadays, it's how good is your NIL set up? And I don't mean to say it's just a money game, but it's like, how good do you manage it so that you can be competitive at all times with these programs. And with Nebraska, that immediately let us level up to the point where we're just as good as anybody else at that. And then you couple that with the fact that we've invested in our program throughout these years, even when we have been less than where we want to be, to the point now where our facilities, our university, the way it looks, the way it presents itself to any recruit right now is beyond compare. There's nobody that's going to beat that. So we're there on that. So
where aren't we there with them?
So we only lack the on-field success.
And
this, but here's my thing: the second we have that, the second we go either to the playoffs or the Big Ten championship and pull that up, the second that happens, we are immediately a top-tier program. Immediately. Like there's no like this program's building, this program's on the right. No, we are there.
When that play, and I don't know how much this happens anymore, anyways, because we seem to get our fair share of top guys that will at least come in and recruit, whether they come to us or not. But we don't seem to have a big issue with getting guys to even see Lincoln. But to your point, maybe a couple of those guys.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying it's not a problem anymore.
I don't think
the NIL is taking care.
I don't think it's an issue that much anymore, anyways. But if there was for a player or two out there, one of those top elite guys that's like, yeah, Nebraska's now. I'm only looking at the Georgias and the Alabamas and so on. And then all of a sudden, to your point, we win. I don't think it takes much. I think it takes beating Michigan on national TV. It takes beating a big time opponent. It takes some whatever that level of success is. You're playing in a conference championship game.
Your coach being on Pat McAfee. Your coach doing his own podcast
and
stuff like that.
And so
matter.
Then they come here.
You gotta win.
They start to see the proof of concept that we're winning football games. Then they come to Lincoln for the first time and they go, "Oh my God, these facilities are better than you name the school." Yeah. And it's better than that. And then they go and they see one game day environment and realize what this looks like here. This looks like big time football.
This is big time football.
This looks like big time football when you're in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's unique. It's unique in its location. The fan base is uniquely dedicated through the entire state to you. And there's absolutely no limitations. We are in the major conference. We are a major program with major NIL. And now that these kids get paid, the thing like, I don't know if my parents can ever come up and see me. You can buy them tickets now. These kids aren't broke anymore when they get here. There's money, there's funds available. Travel doesn't mean as much to them anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're getting something out of this. If mom wants to come, hell, if mom wants to live with you, you could probably afford that with some of these high level guys. So what they've done effectively is taken all the constraints off of Nebraska, and Rule knows that. Rule sees that.
Well, and Rule said that on his podcast, House Rules. If you haven't watched that, Redcasters, absolutely do. House Rules, it's amazing. They've done 3 weeks of it so far, and he's mentioned this multiple times when Trev hired him here. That this is 3 years ago. We're not winning football games yet, but what he sold him on was we don't have any debt as an athletic department. We're the only one in the Big Ten that could claim that, and that. And look at the facilities that we already have and look at the facilities that were being built at that time. Yeah. And basically we're in position, like you do your job, you win football games here. You're going to, and the rules, the changing rules and landscape of what we were seeing in college football with the pay for play model that we have now, we're going to be really well positioned when that day comes. Well, that day has come. Yep. And we're in really good position.
Really well positioned.
Dank says, I watched the video of Oregon's new facilities. They don't look anything like ours. This summer, as part of my Redcast road trips that I do, I went to Georgia, I went to Clemson, I went to North Carolina, NC State, Duke, Wake Forest, the schools. I was at Ohio State for a conference back in July. Facilities are not an issue at Nebraska.
It's not an issue.
What we have isn't.
There's no issue.
There's no issue.
We're issueless. You can win here. That's historically you can win here. We're already a blue blood.
Yeah.
We have no issues. And we're going to start winning, and we have started winning, and the program has changed. And if the sideline reflects, if what they look like on the sideline the other night reflects for the rest of the season, then we are a different program. Immediately, we're a different program.
I've said this on the last couple of episodes.
We changed tiers, bro.
Bobby Bowden made the statement. What he did to build Florida State. In fact, he built Florida State. He credited a 4-game series he played at Nebraska in the 80s.
They all do.
Well, but they came 4 times to Lincoln, Nebraska. They went 2-2. They won 2 games here in the 80s. And they started the decade as a no-name independent. And they ended.
When Dion was on the team?
Yeah, in the mid-80s.
That's right.
And they ended the decade, getting ready to take off and be that national power.
They had a great
and he said that 4-game series at Nebraska, he credited. I've seen him say that at a coach's clinic. And the point is, another comment that he made was, when you're building a program, he goes, first you lose big, then you lose small, then you win small, and then you win big. Right. Yesterday was winning big. Don't get me wrong. To me, that's not what winning big is yesterday. Winning big is beating Michigan
Correct.
by 1 point or beating them by 20 points.
Right.
But you're winning big games.
Right.
And then USC comes to town. Now you beat them by 10 points or 20 points or whatever. Like there's different levels of what winning big means. But
you could beat Ohio State by 3 points. That's winning big.
Yeah.
But
the idea is, we lost big with Rule and for year one when Michigan came to town. We lost big.
Yeah.
We lost big to Indiana, gross, last year. Barf.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then we lost small to a number of teams. A lot of teams.
Most teams.
Yeah. And it was all the little special teams and the turnover margins and the penalties.
All the little fun gaffes.
All those things, right? And we lost small. And then we win small against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And people can be frustrated that wasn't the game that I wanted to see against Cincinnati. I wanted to see us win by 20. But boy, didn't we play a really spectacular special teams game? Didn't our punter kick them down to the 9-yard line?
Barely any penalties.
Barely any
no
penalties.
turnovers.
Don't we come up with the big turnover at the end of the game? Didn't we do all the small things
no bad
to
snaps.
win? Yeah.
No bad snaps.
And we won,
no bad fumbles,
and we won
no
small.
Yeah.
And then we come back and we play this Akron team.
Yeah.
And an Akron team that we're supposed to beat by 37 and a half, and we beat them by 68.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's plenty of people. If Vegas knows anything, there's plenty of people that didn't predict us to win by 37 and a half. So at the same token, I don't want to make too much out of beating Akron. I also don't want to downplay it either because they're Akron. We did did what we were expected to do to Akron. We did more than what I think people expected us to do against Akron. And that, to me, that's a pretty good statement.
Have we had a better start to the season in terms of an indication of a team that might be getting better, of a team that might be turning
in the time frame of the Redcast?
Yes.
I mean, the closest thing in our era, because our first year of the Redcast was Riley's last season. So all we saw were losing seasons. Right. But last year, to your point, we started 5-1. Mm-hmm. You and I had we did a match rule 5 or 6 games in the season, and we broke down some stuff at that time. And we are actually getting, we're the Kool-Aid guys, but some people call us the Kool-Aid guys
right now.
Yeah, we're Kool-Aid right now. We're feeling pretty good right now. And we were catching crap from Husker fans last year when we were 5-1, and we were being critical of some of how that start was. The idea that if we do the same things that we did to be 5-1 with the schedule that we played and some of the mistakes we made, blah blah blah, then the point is we want to be 5-1 the second half of the season, and we ended 1-5.
Right.
So
we saw special teams issues. There were so many warts on that 5-1.
Yes,
you just you can't ignore them. Now, if you want to throw the first game in, and your biggest complaint, we had some untimely penalties, but only just that one of the field goal. The defensive line looked a little tentative, but that game was mostly a quarterback running his ass off and getting first downs and stuff like that. He couldn't throw. They didn't have 100 yards against us. We didn't play our best ball, but that game was never. That was not the worst opening season game you've ever seen by a team.
And that's the one, too, where it really is important to me to watch what Cincinnati does.
Yeah.
Because I think far too much there's still this mentality. It was just Cincinnati. That's a Power 4 team, and we did what we did right away. But you got to keep growing.
Yeah.
Each game.
In the next game, all those problems are gone.
And so now what's the opportunity? So what do you gain? What do you learn by playing Houston Christian? I'll say one thing. I want to see consistency.
Yep.
So Kunanen's done a great job. He's 3 for 3 field goals. I mean, I'd love to score touchdowns every single time we're on the field on offense, but the reality is there's going to be a time. I kind of hope that there's one field goal he has to kick next week. And the point is, I want to see consistency.
Progress would be the starters are done by half, probably.
Sure. I mean, Dylan put up PlayStation numbers, I thought, against Cincinnati in terms of the completion percentage and everything. And then he just doubled down on that for a second week. Yeah. So when he goes and plays Houston Christian, I want to see him double down on that for a third week. Right. And then you're going to play Michigan. Now you're going to have whole new challenges that you didn't have in any of those first 3 games. I expect Michigan to be a better opponent. Yes. All that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Kool-Aid goes away. We're playing Michigan, find a way to win. But I also expect to see basic things like snaps and holds and the field goal kick go through.
Right.
I expect
you don't want to see those things creep up now. Those are game 1 issues. Like if the snaps start going awry or we start mumbling or fumbling like mesh points or just some stupid plays, that can't at this point now, game 2, going into game 3, That stuff's got to go away. That's forgivable game 1, game 2. Not really even so much game 2, but game 1, yes. And it really wasn't a problem game 1. But if it hasn't been a problem yet, there should be no introduction of a new problem. And like I felt like this last week, there was none. Like so many weeks we have improved on something only to discover that we have a new wart that we didn't even know about. It's like, this one guy fumbles too much, and like I'm not going to get caught up with Emmett fumbling. I'm just not. That was a really good hit. Unfortunate play, sucked. And here's why I really won't get hung up on it, because the Huskers ended up turning that into points. So it's like,
the defense gets on the field.
If you need a difference, there it is. Like that still turned into points, and field position was still always in our favor, because the other part of the unit came out and said, "Oh, well, that was irritating. Let's take it out on you." And we did it, as opposed to, "Sure hope we can stop them. Sure hope we can hold them back." Like the way the team took the field, both offense, defense, special teams, that was home. Like they treated that like home. Like this was a home field advantage. You came to our house, and we're gonna beat you up a little bit. We're gonna slap you around a little bit, and like that's what I want to see going forward. I want us to slap some guys around a little bit. That's what, like, when Marshall was playing quarterback, I'm like, this guy, he means business. He don't want you catching anything. Singleton, when he comes down, he's like, I'm a little irritated that you were trying to run the ball on me. Those kinds of, like, Deshaun he's kind of getting after the way he sacked that quarterback with some bullshit face mask call where he barely slid against him, and that guy must have X-ray vision to catch that face mask. But that was a great sack, and it was good to see him get out there and contribute. You just saw from everybody. I will not be tempered on this. We've been waiting for a long time for a game like this. I'm not going to pretend I didn't see what I saw.
Yeah,
I saw pretty good football out there. I saw really good football out there. We say that all the time. I just want to see some good play some good football. I did. It was great.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I thought it'd be like. It was so much more fun to watch. Like I will rewatch this game a lot between now and the next game. Because it's so enjoyable to watch, and it gives you it's a full 5-course meal. Offense, special teams, defense, depth, run game, pass game.
It's the PlayStation game if you were coaching it the way you would have done it, right?
Oh,
like
100%.
You don't give 80 carries to your starting running back. No, like when you're doing a play, I gave 20 carries to my starter, and then I gave 10 to the backup, and then I threw it's
time to get the fullback involved.
And then we're looking at the screen over here with the stats from yesterday, and just the number of names.
Insane. Yeah.
The number of names involved. The number of guys that have made tackles, in this game. I mean,
and you're letting your heart kind of come back into it. You're starting to fall in love with some young guys, right?
Yeah.
Like
that D line looked. That D line in the first game looked like a bunch of really talented young guys playing with their hair on fire that are playing at Arrowhead. I mean, just think of the setting that they're in on national TV, and they're in their first game, and there were run fits that were wrong, and there were, they had some busted stunts and so on. Completely coachable,
totally.
But not a talent issue,
experience
issue. Yeah. So they're gaining some experience, and then they came out against a lesser opponent, and their run fits were better, and their stunning was better.
Right.
And we've got some dudes that look like dudes. They're just still young, and I want to see that development. Williams Nawari, man, that dude.
That guy's got a lot of potential. There was I can't remember the play, but sometimes when they focus in on one guy's on the center screen, and you can just see like the arm of another player behind it, but I knew it was 96, so I knew it was him. And then just showing his arm, I'm like, holy Lord. Like, he's just a sophomore.
The guy, I think, Willis McGahee, and he's still and he played some last year.
Yeah. He
is so talented.
He's good.
He needs to slow down about 5. And I get it, man. He's out there on that field, and he wants to tear heads off. And we know at Shavers how he plays, and that fumble that he caused. Like, we got dudes that want to hit on that defense.
Even a little Benning came out, and he made some hits. Came across the field, got a guy out of bounds, hit him at speed. He looked good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I probably shouldn't call him little Benning.
Well, younger Benning.
Yes.
Yeah. Merritt, the true freshman linebacker there. He came out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just got so many guys out there. And yeah, Chris, you said it here. It felt like the 90s. That's what a game felt like.
It did.
Yeah, in true 90s fashion too, Husker Nation. As soon as the drones were done, we had people leaving Memorial Stadium. I'm sitting there going, "What are you
assholes?"
I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Come on.
I get it.
Why would you leave that? We haven't seen that forever.
I get it. 30 years ago, you left because we did that every game, right? But now here we are, and people. The guy in front of me, well, I'm going to beat parking. I'm going to get out of here. Yeah. I'm like, you want to watch the third string safety get out there? I mean, come on.
We can just blame Arrowhead on that because they were probably so triggered from last week that it was just like, no, I'm getting out of here. But what a true. It was so fun to see some backups and get in there and see TJ Lateef out there. That was really cool. I didn't expect to see him play much this year. Did you? At the beginning of the year, when we recruited him. And he signed. Did you think I'll probably see him pretty extensively by the second game of the year?
I think people probably thought maybe he would redshirt this year, play 4 games because he wasn't going to be the second string guy. That was going to be Jalen Gramstad. Yeah. Gramstad got out there and he was 2 of 2, on his passes, basically dump offs. But Lateef 6 of 7, 128 yards.
Yeah, nice.
And he showed some of that mobility that I like to see in the QB too. And again, Dylan, I think Dylan, he just looks so different from a year ago. He physically looks different. Yeah. He looks so much more mobile, but he's so much quicker in his mind. You see how fast he pulls away, rolls out. He is seeing things so much faster right now. You can just tell that. And some of that's experience, and I think a whole lot of that is Holgorsen. I think a whole lot of that's Holgorsen. I mean, immediately, when you go back to the UCLA game a year ago, and that offense just looked like it was stuck in the mud and that we were trying to do 800 things. And what Holgorsen and the beauty of Holgorsen is he just came in here and just said, here's the playbook, and we're just going to rip about half of it out. What do we do well? Let's focus on that.
Those two, and
really, we're going to play fast.
Those two really complement each other well. You can tell Holgorsen trusts him. Mm-hmm. Dylan is smart enough to get the protections right, the adjustments correct. And he's just really confident with where he's going with the ball. And the receivers have been keeping up their end of the bargain. They've been catching balls. They've been catching contested balls. They've, gone deep. That play, Ja'Cory, where it was under, Dylan got hit as he threw it, and then Ja'Cory had to kind of stop short and come back and catch that. We see that pass get dropped all the time. Yeah. That pass always ends up incomplete for us or picked.
That's a very early our blocking, our perimeter blocking. You go back to a year ago, first couple games, and that was a problem all the time.
Yes.
That hasn't been a problem these first 2 games. The catching that you're talking about, I mean, it's been solid. From first string receivers to second string to third string.
A lot of sideline catches, going out of bounds catches.
What one position coach on offense, and I think Holgorsen had I think he had authority. If he wanted to make more changes, he could have. He made one change, and he brought in the guy that he's worked with, Coach Shorts. Worked with him at Houston, and Shorts last year was at Kentucky. Of course, he brings Dan Key with him.
Yes,
and that room there. You want to talk about tangible progress from 1 year ago? Not just the talent of the play. I think we had some talented receivers last year.
Well, our best receiver is still the guy from the team last year.
Yeah, Barney. And I thought Banks was a good receiver, but they didn't play as well as they should at times. They just flat out. I mean, I saw it right away. Some of the film breakdowns that we did last year. My bigger issue with the receivers on day 1 and game 1 and 2 and 3 were it was perimeter blocking, and then some of the drops didn't really even show up until a couple of games into the season. So again, that all comes back to, I guess, we don't know what we haven't seen yet. I want to see consistency.
I think that's what's so important,
right? Against Houston Christian, we're going to blow them out, right?
Right.
But I don't want to see 6 drops as we blow them out 68-0.
I don't need to see a bigger display of talent or playmakers. No, what I want to see is just next week, are we doing the same thing? Are we improving? We're not adding problems. Short of an injury that might change some stuff, we should be better each week. Now, the opponent matters in terms of what it might look like on the scoreboard or whatever, but you shouldn't see all of a sudden new issues. Nothing dumb like just the dumb stuff we've seen. No. Kickoffs out of bounds, muffed punts, poorly timed penalties, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not effort penalties either. Like these pass interference calls that we were getting, like I appreciate this coaching staff because if you listen close, they pretty much tell you how it's going to go. They told us we're going to play as aggressive as they let us on offense or on defense for our defensive backs. We're going to play and we made them throw flags. Like, all right, there's the line. Okay, I'm not mad. Okay, now we know. Back off just a little bit from that, but we're going to make them throw that flag first. We're going to be up in these guys' business until that flag comes out. And we do that. That's exactly what it looks like. So it's like they're saying it, you're seeing it. You're seeing Dylan make passes that I can't say I've never seen any quarterback make before, but I can say 100% I've never seen a Nebraska quarterback make before.
That's probably a good way of saying
it. And now he's kind of added – he'll never confuse anybody with Adrian running, but he's added an element to where it's just annoying enough, man. 8 yards when you've got everything else covered. If that quarterback gets 8 yards and you want a defense, when you had it perfectly defended, backbreaking.
Yeah,
and he can do that.
Cranderson, that's a Yukon Chris up there in Alaska. He said the stat line hasn't reflected the value and play of Key quite yet. He's looked great. 100% agree, Yukon Chris. I'm looking at Key stats here. I'm through 2 games. I'm actually blown away that they are this low. 9 catches for 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He's been very productive. He's been the first down guy, the possession guy on that. He comes up with the touch. You could tell in the second half they just wanted to get him a couple touches. He really hadn't touched it much in the first half, against Akron. But you're absolutely right, Cranderson. That does not tell the story of, if you just look at that stat sheet for Dane Key through two games, that guy has been a leader out there. What he's done, the perimeter blocking, he doesn't drop a ball. No. And when it's third down or fourth down, there was a fourth down when he completed the touchdown against Cincinnati.
Yep.
He comes up big at those moments. And
I think it's kind of nice. They're keeping him kind of involved.
Yeah.
But there's more on the horizon for him for sure. But what it kind of looks like though is we've got some other weapons. So it might be one of those things where, all right, this defense has decided that Barney is not going to beat us, or this tight end Lindemeyer is not going to beat us, and then that's the game that Dane Key gets loose.
Yeah, Well, we're 2 games in the season. You play 12 games, and hopefully, there's no injuries to guys. They play a whole year. Well, we can kind of start to, forecast. Look at Barney. He's had 12 catches for 160 yards, 159 yards. You times that times 6. That's 12 games. You're looking at a 72 catch season.
Wow.
And 900 yards receiving. You look at Isaiah Hunter, and he's at 10 catches and 147 yards. That's going to be 60 catches for about 900 yards. Mm-hmm. Imagine a couple of those guys, and I think Dan Key he's going to get his.
Yeah.
And Luke Lindemeyer, by the way, is number 3 with 8 catches for 91 yards. So that's times that by 6. That's 48 for 550.
Great season.
For a tight end, right?
Great season.
But look at the touchdowns too. There's 1 for Hunter already, 1 for Lindemeyer, 2 for Key. Those are your top 4 receivers right now, 2 games in. Those are going to be your top 4 receivers, right?
Yeah.
As the season goes on, as you get into those games where you can't just empty the bench as much, Barney, Hunter, Lindemeyer, and Key are going to be the guys that at the end of the season, and knock on wood, and I would, hopefully everyone can stay good and healthy and everything. Those are the guys that are going to be leading the stat sheet in that room. And when I look down the course of this, I see a guy like Quinn Clark. He can step in at times. Obviously, Heinrich Harburg, I love just what he brings. He's a physical approach to this. You see him on some of those touchdown runs where we're pulling tight ends from left to right, and Harburg's out there leading the punch on that.
Totally.
He's a physical presence out there.
He's a big time athlete. He's still kind of learning the position, but he's already made a couple plays. I'm real hopeful for him as the season goes on. We need to play as many games as we can.
Yeah. Dank says our wide receiver core is so complementary between Key, Hunter, Barney, and EJ. They're all so different. Got to be hard to defend that. And
100% agree.
I would agree. Well, Mac, let's go to hear some parting shots here.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, I'll start and just say I'm not surprised that we're 2-0. I'm not surprised that we blew Akron out. I'm not surprised by a number of things. I might be surprised by the fact that there really isn't an area of concern that I have right now. I just don't. I can get nitpicky and say the left tackle spot, although I thought Gatula made – you want to talk about game 1 to game 2? I thought Gatula stepped into that role and took a little more ownership over it. But, I think overall the O-line play is improved from a year ago.
It looks like it
the receiving core is night and day difference from that. Yep. EJ looks like what I'm expecting EJ to look like, and we're starting to see a glimpse of some of the talented guys behind him. Dylan is better than anything I thought that he'd be right now at this point.
Oh, yeah. He's exceptional. He's really good.
And so offensively, it's all there. Special teams, we are instantaneously seeing a difference.
It's
with Mike Eckler.
So apparent.
It's everything that I was hoping going into the season that would be on special teams, and it absolutely has been. It's
100% fixed.
We're night and day different.
Like it is a fixed unit. It is no longer the scariest part of the football game. That's not even close. Now it's kind of exciting.
Really isn't.
So
and defensively, I would just say it's going to be. I'm excited to see what this defense looks like come October and come November.
Yeah.
They are young in some spots, but the talent is absolutely there. These dudes are fearless. They fly around. They've tackled well. I haven't seen a lot of missed tackles. We highlight a couple in the film session last week, but the reality is these guys, they've been doing a lot of hitting. They've been doing a lot of tackling in practice. Coach Snow talked about that in the fall camp pressers that he did, that, we're tackling every day, and it looks like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have this comfort level. I love the fact that Coach Rule gets to go out there and do what Coach Rule does really well, which is be a CEO, that he can go and do the McAfee show. That he can do his own podcast, because he's not knee deep into the X's and O's of every single thing that each one of those units are doing. He has really competent, more than competent. That's probably not the right word. He has excellent coordinators at each level that have got this, and he can just manage the program, manage the situation, manage the refs during a game, manage the sideline, manage the culture, manage all those things, because he's not worried about what's the next play call going to be. He can do all those things.
Do you feel? I don't know if it's probably too soon in the season to see if that's manifested in something you could actually point to in the game and say, see, this, he wouldn't be able to do this without, having the freedom of trusting these coordinators as much.
I think it's even something as simple as, this is a little bit of the Husker historian guy in me, but a Devaney back in the day would walk around practice, and, the chancellor comes by and some donors come by and, a parent of a player and all this. And Devaney would just kind of walk around and shake hands because, Tom Osborne's got this offense taken care of and Monty Kiffin's doing defense, right? That level of comfort. And I think,
sorry, keep going. I'm listening.
But I think in general, that's where I see Rule right now. A couple weeks ago when, Osborne and Solich and Darlington are at practice, his ability to just be able to go around and just, things are taken care of. It's got to be such a relaxing feeling. I know I've said this so many times, but you go back to year one here, and this has been a learning experience for a guy that's had a lot of coaching experience in Rule. He came in here and built a staff, I think, that looked a little bit like what he thought he could do at Baylor and Temple in the past. And we'll get a young guy here, we'll get a high school coach here, and whatever. It took him a couple years to figure out in the Big Ten that's not what he needs. But right now he has Dana Holgerson running his offense, and he looks like a coach that feels like he. Does Matt Rule do a podcast 2 years ago at this time? Does Matt Rule 2 years ago?
That's a great point.
Does he do, even if he's offered McAfee, does he do it?
No coincidence in year 3 he's finally doing this stuff because he feels like because how much better could you feel about your special teams coordinator right now? Sounds like he's doing all right. Looks like the offense, who just put up 1 billion points and 1 billion yards, they're doing okay. Defense just pitched a shutout.
First time since 2009.
So that looks like they kind of know what they're doing. Yeah, I can do a podcast. I could probably talk about a podcast.
Well, how about all those other years where we had, the athletic director and the head coach don't see eye to eye, and all those issues always here. Coach Rule's here, and he's like, hey, I need grass fields for practice. We'll build them for you. Hey, we need the, there's this I don't know what the word is. I hate to use the word synergy, but there's something like the way that those guys interact.
Right. Like, hey, I don't want to be on this side of the field anymore. I want to be on that side.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, we'll move you over there.
No problem.
I don't see any impediments to prevent us, internal impediments. I give all the credit in the world to that Michigan can be a great program, or that USC can be a great program. Going to Penn State's going to be very tough. Yes, all those are the impediments. But the impediments are no longer us doing something to us. It's hard enough to beat the opponent when you're when you're beating yourself.
Yes.
And that's the thing that we saw for so many countless years during the Redcast era. That was always the
frustration. It's like, we just beat us. I don't even know what us.
How good can we be if we didn't, if we could get out of our own way?
That so many times.
We said that countless times for 6 or 7 years of this show.
Yeah.
And to finally be at a point when Frost is fired and Bill Bush takes over and the players are saying, hey, we get a tackle in practice again. And we sit there and go, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
How did we not know for 5 years we weren't tackling in practice? All those things. I'm not concerned about any of them.
Right.
I literally feel like as a fan, I feel like I can sleep better at night. Knowing that we're going to be physical on Saturday. We're going to
like, I don't have to follow quite as closely now because I feel like you've got this now.
You've got it.
Right.
So,
well, for mine.
Yeah. So what's your parting shot? I don't even know if that was a parting shot. I just was babbling there.
A little bit. Yeah. No, I just want to, originally we were going to do one after the Cincinnati game and I was down to do it, but I went and saw Oasis in Chicago, Oasis, the superstar band from across the way. Unbelievable show. They sounded perfect. It was a sea of 40 and 45-year-olds wearing Adidas tracksuits and bucket hats. Noel and Liam have clearly mended all fences. It was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful night. But I sang and completely blew out my voice. There was no talking. Like, it was just like, they had to hear how good we were. So anyway, it was great show. And it was during the Cincinnati game. We kept getting updates on the phone while we were doing it, but oh my gosh, unbelievable time. So, and then, to be able to celebrate a victory after that. And then really the first game I get to watch is this game, fun, having a great time with it. We look great. So I think there's a lot to be excited about, Husker fans. It's hard to imagine a much better start to the season, and maybe we blow the doors off at Cincinnati, but you can't please everybody. We just saw a game and we just saw a moment in time where we don't get those or haven't had those in a long time. These boys came to play, all of them, and they put on a show for us, and that was fun to watch. So that's a good sign for the season going forward. There's nothing but chinks in everybody's armor throughout college football. No one's a superstar team, I don't think, yet.
Maybe Oregon. But
maybe Oregon. But gosh, man, this is, like you said earlier, like sometimes the season's already ruined by week 2. And it sure is.
And it is ruined for some people already. Some fan bases.
Yeah.
Bama. Not ours.
Yeah. It's not Bama's either. They're in the SEC. Somehow they'll get in the playoff. No big deal. But yeah, anyway, I think that's enough to say get us out with another
Matt's Rule.
A Herd at Sports Network production.